Been working on infectious disease for quite some time, and then but it was with different groups. For example, for pneumonia one group, meningitis another group, and finally we have a group in fact who are working together for all the studies, but it was mainly based on at one hospital. But gradually we thought that okay, we are making very good progress and our contributions or our evidences are being used by the policymakers. So subsequently we formed a multidisciplinary group with the same group who are working for Advocacy Hospital and also ICDRB. So all the colleagues together, and also we have another colleague from Johns Hopkins University. So together we formed a group, multidisciplinary group, and which is mainly to work on the infectious diseases. And that organization is named as Child Disease Foundation because we wanted to focus on Child Disease Foundation. Its main objective of that, our group, to really leverage the facilities, whatever facilities we are having, whatever resources we are having, generate some evidence, and they'll be bringing more resources, and we'll be having more and more freedom, in fact, to work on this and generate evidences. And based on that, we really one by one, we are generating evidences, and then we realize that it is drawing attention, and then based on that we change the treatment policy. We sometimes really work on the diagnostics to make sure that we can detect the disease very quickly. At the same time, we thought, why don't we go more in the policy? So when we are really publishing the papers, we are giving a lot of impressions of what is the implication in immunization policy, and that helped us in fact in a way. So our evidences were really getting a lot of attention from the global audience, and that evidence has helped us to get the Hib vaccine. But it was really delayed. It's more than 2 decades. It took us to get the Hib vaccine in Bangladesh. But still, we still feel proud because it's not only we really first time in this whole region we generated the data, and first time we really created the evidence. Yes, we have Hib diseases, and most of those diseases, meningitis mainly, is really caused by Haemophilus influenzae type B, and we also showed that drug resistance is very high. So we started working on even multi-drug resistance on Haemophilus influenzae since 1990s. So all those publications really helped us a lot, in fact. Then we worked together with ICDRB, Professor Abdullah Helmaki, on the impact of Hib vaccine, to using the Hib vaccine as a probe study, and then which really revealed that we have a large burden of Haemophilus influenzae type B, which helped us to get Hib vaccine in this country. But these evidences not only really influenced the policy of Bangladesh, we gradually recognized that we are going to India, we are presenting our data, and that helped India also to gradually introduce Haemophilus influenzae type B vaccine. But more importantly, when we were working on Haemophilus influenzae type B, we are also working on pneumococcus. And then now we see that pneumococcal vaccine, especially the second generation pneumococcal vaccine, which is 10 and 13 valent, they really did not take even a decade. They came almost at real time to Bangladesh. So that's possibly our biggest satisfaction, that we can really influence the policy decisions, and that influence of policy decisions goes beyond the boundary of Bangladesh. So Child Disease Foundation is a small organization, but it is mainly led by the basic science group like microbiologists, biochemists together, but at the same time we have clinicians and epidemiologists. On the other hand, we really, whatever group we are, professionals, but we do not limit our work to the laboratory or in the wards. We generate the evidence, then we go to the policy decisions, and then policies. So you can say we go for advocacy, and then advocacy is something which sometimes entertaining. In fact, the way we have a BBC documentary on Haemophilus influenzae disease burden. At the same time, We have a lot of publications on the advocacy, and we have Pneumonia Day, all those things. We work with the ministers, we work with the parliament members, not only the parliament members of Bangladesh, we also work with the parliament members of the British Parliament, members of the British Parliament. So we work together, and everything helped us to get the pneumococcal vaccine almost at real time in Bangladesh. And one other thing, we are really very careful that when we're talking about vaccine, we are mainly talking about the vaccines which are which will be coming to the children who need it most. So example, we really did not encourage the government or the policymakers to bring this vaccine in the private sector. Rather, we wanted to get this vaccine from day one in the immunization program, so that our children who needed it most will get the vaccine. So that's the way we are making the progress. At the same time, so from where we generate this data? We have a network of hospitals, so where we are really getting large number of patients. That's one way of doing this. But at the same time, if you really want to understand the disease burden, then you need a really cohort. So we have a population-based site in rural Bangladesh, which is managed by Child Research Foundation. And that population-based site is nested in a demographic surveillance system. And when we are running a demographic surveillance system, we really know about everything about the foreign population. I mean, especially the mother and the children. We know that their expected delivery date, and from there we'll be knowing the newborns. And any study you want to do the newborns, we can really understand what is the expected delivery date. So we do a lot of studies with the longitudinal cohort. And from this longitudinal cohort, what we can do is design the studies, and then we collect the specimens accordingly and follow up these babies. So those things are there in our, with this small group, very new organization, but we are working with multiple groups and generating the evidence. And finally, I should say we start with very, very limited resources. And we proved, yes, we are low middle income country nowadays, our resources are limited, but I don't think that can hinder the research. If we really use if you can make the best use of the limited resources and best and rational use of limited resources, then we can generate the evidence. And whatever evidence we generate from these countries where really there are very minimum evidences, it draws attraction, and that will bring more resources. People will be coming to us to collaborate. And then gradually we really changed that vicious cycle of limited resources, no evidence, and we are remaining in limited resources. We changed that. From the limited resources we generate evidence, and finally we get a number of collaborators around us, and based on that we now really running multiple studies, not only in Bangladesh, even in India, even in Pakistan. We are supported by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to do a study in 3 different countries. So we designed the study in a way that we can get a large number of newborns with possible serious bacterial infections, and then we did everything possible to understand the etiology of these cases. So in short, I should say we brought the best possible technologies of the world. I mean, where even in the developed world, those technologies are not used in the routine way, rather going for research. We brought all those technologies for the places where children are dying. So we really bridged that gap, because if you look at the countries with most of the infectious diseases and most of the children are dying, and the countries that most of the technology are there is a huge gap. There is a illogical distribution of child death and the availability of technologies. We really bridged that in this project. And in this project, we enrolled 70,000 babies and followed them up. And we did process the specimens, nasopharyngeal and blood specimens for multiple etiological agents. And we are coming up with evidences what really these babies are, we are calling them infection based on WHO definition. So we'll be coming up with the etiology, and then bacteria, virus, all kind of etiological agents. And it was a great experience. This is the first time such a big study were done in 3 different countries, and it was coordinated by a team which based in this part of the world. There's the CHRF team coordinated this work in fact, and the study completed data management and everything was done by the local team only, and possibly it will be recognized for many years as a very well managed and well designed study. So Child Research Foundation is really extended beyond Bangladesh, and they're working to make sure that all these whole region are getting benefited from this organization, and that's what we are looking forward to go even beyond this region. In the recent future, what we are planning to do now, we know that the countries neighboring to us, they are in some ways maybe we are behind, but in some cases they are really behind. Let me give you one example. If we look at the evidences about Haemophilus influenzae type B and pneumococcus, the very minimum evidence from a vast country like India. So we are gradually involving with the different studies on pneumococcus in India to make sure that we are helping them in building capacity. We are helping them to get training from our place, and then we are going to the place to work with them together. And what is our dream? In next few years, we will not need to go to India anymore. The people who are getting trained from us, they will be training theirs, and gradually you'll be seeing a lot of evidences from Indian sites and Indian hospitals and Indian population-based sites about this pneumococcal disease and other diseases, and which will be helping us in fact to generate evidence for India. And if we can really do something significant in India, that will be have global impact, because that's the largest cohort where the children are dying. And if we can really prevent those deaths through our work, that will be great satisfaction for the whole group of Child Research Foundation. At the same time, we cannot prevent all the diseases. And gradually, while we are doing this surveillance, we can understand that we are really have encountering a large number of multi-drug resistant strains. So an antimicrobial resistance is becoming a very big problem. Considering this, that the no new molecules are coming, we are really focusing on that as well. But we are looking at antimicrobial resistance possibly in a different way, because we are not only limiting our work to the hospitals, and we are not only limiting to our work to the antimicrobial resistance. We'll say we are really looking at both the side of the coin. I mean, antimicrobial resistance, at the same time susceptibility. So the literature we are seeing until now, we really see that we are publishing multi-drug resistant strains. Even one multi-drug resistant strains are becoming a big news in Lancet and many other journals. But important thing, we are looking at the community as well. It's not only the ICU where most of the drug resistance strains are there we are reporting. So at the same time, we are going to the community from where most of the people are living, and we are looking at the drug resistance pattern. So our main objective to generate the real picture that the ICU strains are not the representative of the microbes. So that should not be the driving evidence for which we'll be making the treatment policy. That should be the driving policy decision ingredient. So what we should do, should go to the community and see what is the scenario there, and make sure that even in the community we are not really applying what we should apply in the ICU where multi-drug resistant strains are there, or in the hospital where most of the multi-drug resistant organisms are there. So these are the very important things. We are giving a lot of attention on this. We are looking at the molecular aspects of these multi-drug resistant strains. At the same time, as large number of cases in our country are coming with prior antibiotic, so a large number of microbes are being detected just by other diagnostics where you do not get the bacteria itself. So it is very difficult to know whether the bacteria are resistant or susceptible. So what we are doing now, we are optimizing the methods, molecular methods, to detect the gene from the non-culturable specimens, so that we can say exactly what is the resistance pattern of those cases as well. So we are aiming to generate a very comprehensive scenario of drug resistance in the microbes for the causing infectious diseases in Bangladesh. So that's the next objective of Child Research Foundation.